feature presentation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Wealth Management Advisory Club meeting. Now, you may be wondering, let me make sure I get this. Well, now you may be wondering why I am not in the mansion room 13. Well, if you looked at our recent post, this week's meeting for our final bonus meeting of the 2023 spring semester, we decided why not go to one place where I think no one's ever heard of, but it's actually FDU Silberman's most kept secret. Yes, I am currently in the Monitor Center, room 106, otherwise known as the Bloomberg Lab. And behind me, obviously, you guys can see, behind me are about 12 Bloomberg terminals that we have here, actually 12 in total here on the Florida campus, 12 on Metro, so 24 in total. And with the possibility of that wall over here getting knocked down, putting more terminals in, which will be awesome. Now, obviously, you guys are probably wondering about the tripod. Now, again, that is for our TikTok live. So again, I do apologize if you guys see that. So today, we teach you guys on how to use Bloomberg and to use the Bloomberg concepts. Now, basically, this is to entice you guys to come to the Student Managed Investment Fund, which I'm wearing my vest today, every Tuesday from 3 to 5 p.m. in the Bloomberg Labs here, Monitor Center on the Florida campus, Dickinson Hall on the Metro campus. I don't know what room of Metro campus it is, but I do know it's a Dickinson Hall. So again, if anyone does know, let me know, because I am not a Metro campus as much as I am. But so this workshop's going to be a little different. It's not going to be the usual me, going through the whole shebang and doing that. We're going to make it interactive. It's fun. And we're going to give you guys a live demo of the Bloomberg terminal in live action. So if you guys are ready, I know I'm most certainly ready. Let's get this party started, baby. Happy last meeting, fall semester. Nice. Why am I saying that? Geez, we're jumping ahead here. Happy last bonus shop. Bonus meeting of the spring semester. I apologize. Okay. So obviously, you guys know, here we go. Bloomberg Terminal Workshop. Now, as always, these workshop slideshows will be shared with you at the end of this meeting. So again, probably the day after, probably either Wednesday or probably Thursday, because we have a major announcement to be announced on Thursday. We will probably put that out there with that email. So again, here we go, the Bloomberg Workshop. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about introduction to Bloomberg. What is it? The history of it. We're going to have a little bit of history lesson about the company. A little, for those history buffs out there. We're going to talk about what is the Bloomberg terminal, why should you use it, and then we're going to talk about assessing or accessing the Bloomberg terminal. And I'm also going to talk about the Bloomberg marketing concepts, which I think is a very, very key part for even every business major. If you're not affiliated with FDU Silberman, you should get Bloomberg certified. It'll look good on your resume. Trust me. I'm Bloomberg certified, Bloomberg Market Concept certified, and Bloomberg ESG certified. And that looks good on your resume. Trust me. Trust me, it looks good. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about how to access it. And then we're going to go over how to use the Bloomberg panels, the keyboard. Obviously, I am probably not going to be able to show you guys what the keyboard looks like, but again, just by this is what the keyboard looks like. So I have a picture of it. So I'm going to show a better version of it. And then we're going to talk about the command lines, the menus, and then we're going to talk about analyzing the market. So I know these seems kind of weird about what are these abbreviations. Do not worry. We're going to cover all of that in today's workshop. Then we're going to talk about how you explore the equity market. Then we'll talk about discovering the fixed income market. And then finally, we're going to show you guys how to build an equity portfolio. And as an added bonus, you guys are able to see how we are able to make the student managed investment fund portfolio on Bloomberg. And able to show you guys how we're able to analyze it and do all that fun stuff. So good for you guys. Get a little treat from yours truly. All right. So let's talk about first, what is the Bloomberg terminal? So Bloomberg Terminal, which is also known as Bloomberg Professional Services, or Bloomberg, is a software program that provides real-time financial data, news, analytics, and communication tools to financial professionals. It is a computer-based system that is widely used by investment bankers, traders, analysts, hedge fund managers, other professionals in the finance industry. Basically, all the speakers we had come to this semester and past semesters, they had at one point, or probably currently using this right now, they're using Bloomberg. Trust me, they're using this. And the primary purpose of it is to provide users with the comprehensive and up-to-date financial information, including, for example, stock prices, bond yields, foreign exchange rates, and commodity prices. However, you might be saying to yourself, well, Jack, couldn't you find that market on Yahoo Finance or Market Beat? Yes, but Bloomberg can also provide users with access to a wide range of financial news, analysis, and research, as well as market data and charts. It also includes a powerful analytic tools and functions that enables users to analyze financial data and create custom reports based on what is on the terminal. And it is different from other financial software in several ways, and I'm going to explain a couple of them. First off, it provides real-time data and news, which is critical for making informed financial decisions. I know how Google Finance and Yahoo Finance, they kind of delay. Bloomberg is on point. So it always is updating by the second. Second, get it? Second. It offers a comprehensive suite of analytical tools and functions that enables users to perform complex financial analysis and create custom reports. Third, it provides a powerful communication platform that enables users to connect with other financial professionals around the world. And finally, the Bloomberg terminal has a reputation for being the highly secured and reliable, which is crucial in the finance industry, where even minor errors can have significant consequences. And trust me, we don't want you guys going through that, and we don't want Bloomberg to go through that ever. So let's go over a little history of Bloomberg. So Bloomberg LP is a privately held financial software data media company founded by Michael Bloomberg. I wonder where we got the company name from. Hint, hint, the last name. In 1981. And Bloomberg initially started the company to provide real-time financial data to investment banks and other financial institutions. The Bloomberg terminal, the company's flagship product, was launched in 1982, 1 year after Bloomberg was founded. The initial vision of the Bloomberg terminal was a computer-based system that provided real-time financial data and analytics to financial professionals. Now, over the years, Bloomberg terminal has evolved to include a wide range of financial information, analytical tools, as well as communication features that enables you to connect with other financial professionals around the world. I'm going to show you guys how you're able to do that on the Bloomberg terminals in just a little while. And in addition to that, the company's expanded to include a wide range of financial software data products, for example, which is the Bloomberg Professional Services, Bloomberg Government, Bloomberg Law, Tax, Environment, New Energy Finance, and Bloomberg. And I do apologize, I butchered this name, but indices, and among others. And they also have expanded to media with like Bloomberg News, Bloomberg Television, Bloomberg Radio, which basically, I'm not going to discuss what Bloomberg News, Radio, Television are, because I think they're very easy for you guys to understand, but you guys know what they are. Now, today, Bloomberg LP is a global company with more than 19,000 employees in 176 countries around the world. And it is headquartered, guess where? In the Big Apple, in New York City, and still is owned by its founder, Michael Bloomberg. Just saying, you don't know, maybe you can sponsor WMA Club or SMEF. Just saying. Okay, now, why should you use the Bloomberg terminals? Now, for anyone who is at FDU and you are a business major, I don't know why you have not been using these terminals. Use the terminals. The school pays a lot of money for these. So again, use this. And some of the reasons why you should use it. Just so I have it on my end. Oop, that's there. That's the wrong one. Sorry about that. So you're looking at real-time data and news, the comprehensive data or information, powerful analytical tools, communication platform, and secure and reliable. Now, obviously, I went over a little more in depth about why you should really use it. But enough about me going through this slide deck. I think you guys really want to see this in action. You guys ready to see Bloomberg in action? Now, before we get to that, let me show you guys how you're able to get your Bloomberg marketing concepts, which, by the way, even if you are not a finance major, every business major should at least get their Bloomberg marketing concepts done. And here's the best part. Here at FDU, it's completely free. And I ain't lying. It's free. And here's another fun fact. I was able to do it in my freshman year. And believe me, if you're going to have intermediate financial analysis, whoever you take it with, they're going to require it. So I'm basically saving your butt by doing this early. Trust me, it paid off in the end for me, because I did it very, very well. So for those who do not know how to do it, I will show you. So you're going to type in Bloomberg Marketing Concepts like I have here on Bing or any other search engine. Go there, and then obviously the BMC login. Now, I do know that some people have said, and I believe Smeef even said it, that you actually have to do your Bloomberg Marketing Concepts with the Bloomberg Lab. That is false. You can do in the Bloomberg Lab, but you could also do it anywhere, anytime. And you can do it on your laptop. Trust me, I did my entire BMC on my MacBook right from the cover of my home. I didn't even go in the Bloomberg Lab to do it. Now, BMC login. And, oh, all right, already logged in. So basically you'll have, the webinars, which you really don't have to do, but again, you do have to sign up for it. And I will just show you how to do that. And the way you do that is when you're going to Learner, make sure you enter your institutional email. So obviously your school email, the institution will probably pop up FDU, create your password, first and last name, sign up, and then bada bing, bada boom, you're good. So let me just show you what this does look like on my end. So you guys are able to see what this does look like. All right. So basically it'll show you certificates, classes, continuous learning. So there's videos, cases, webinars. Most of the times it will not have case studies. They won't. Videos, they'll have a ton of videos for you guys to watch from data science, ESG, fintech. And just throw back to last week's bonus meeting about fintech. Go watch that after this meeting. Careers of finance, geopolitics, and Islamic finance. Heck, I might even actually watch that video after I'm done with this meeting. Might do so. So the certificates, there are 2 free certificates. I highly suggest you start your BMC one first and then your ESG one. Now, obviously the ESG, even though it's not that important, you still want to learn it. It's self-paced and it's an e-learning course. Now for the Bloomberg Marketing Concepts, for anyone under a rock, how that works. Basically, it's 100% online and it's free. Now, I know there are technically 8 courses. However, 4 of them count towards your BMC, which are your equities, fixed incomes, currencies, and economic indicators. Now, you may be wondering why this one's not started, because sometimes, and even when you're done getting your BMC, they will have some of these courses updated because of a newer version. And here's the best part about that. You do not have to get recertified. You'll automatically be certified for life. You basically take it again and get a new score, which I will do with fixed income after this meeting. I will redo that in all its glory later. So economic indicators, currencies, fixed incomes, and I'm not going to really show you guys a video of it because I don't get copyrighted. But again, it'll show you the meeting. It'll show you, it'll be like a little video you watch, answer some questions about it. And here's the thing. It's not, you have to get a passing score. As long as you finish all the courses, you pass and you completed it. It's like, example, I got a 33 in currencies and 32.6 in equities, but I got a 72 on economic indicators. So, do it at your own pace. All right. So that's how you do Bloomberg Marketing Concepts for anyone who does not know how to do that. All right. Now I think you guys have been waiting for this all day. Yes. All week long. I've been telling you guys about we're going to do the Bloomberg terminal. And yes, we are finally going to do it. So here we go. So the way you're able to enter the Bloomberg terminal. Now, obviously, the way you have to sign up for it, I'm going to show you how to do it. But obviously, I'm not going to do it because I've already signed up for the account already. So again, if you are a new user, just follow my steps. If you are a current user, just log in simply there. You're able to get it. Now, you must be in a Bloomberg terminal. If you are not a Bloomberg terminal, I know they have like Bloomberg terminals in the New York Public Library, but if you live in New York City, go and do that. But if you're an FDU student, you have to be in the Bloomberg terminals on either the Florham campus or the Metro campus to do this. So again, just as a disclaimer. All right, so we're going to go and hit Bloomberg. And obviously it will pull up here the Bloomberg terminal if I would like to load today. And by the way, guys, if you guys actually like having these meetings in the Bloomberg Live, let us know, because this is not kind of the first time we're doing it. We're going to try to see if it works out really well. All right, so here it is, Bloomberg Anywhere. Make sure your language is English and not any of these languages, because trust me, it'll be a pain in the butt for you to understand it. So enter and go. And now, basically, we'll log in password. Now, if you are a new user, you will go ahead and create a new login. The way you do that is you're going to do is who you creating this login for, myself. Have you ever been a Bloomberg terminal user before? You're going to say no, because obviously this is the first time you're using it. When you do that, first name, last name, login name. Now the login name, basically you can come up with it, but I usually would do is put your first initial, your first name, and then your last name, and then just put numbers in it. Again, that's how I did it when I was a freshman. Your company and mobile pro, just put the mobile phone number as your mobile phone number, and then for company phone, if you are at FDU, just put the FDU Silberman's number. Again, it really doesn't mean anything. It's just because it is what it is. And then the company email, just put your school email there. And then, you know, when we go through this, let me just put a couple random numbers here just so that we can just get through this real quick. Okay. 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 And it'll obviously come with your automatic login name right there. So go to next, and then basically how you want your code to be delivered, SMS, text, automated phone number. Obviously, I would rather do text, easier way to do it. And then when you get the confirmation, then you're able to use the Bloomberg terminal. But since I already have mine, I will not be doing that. I will basically put in my login info right here. I also make sure you save it because, again, you do not want to lose this. So now we did that. Now we're in the Bloomberg. Yes. Now you might see from the beginning that you have 4 Bloomberg windows or panels. Now, each of these panels I have here, now obviously you're seeing a lot of things here. These are your Bloomberg panels. They have a toolbar, they have the command line, and the function area. Now you can run Bloomberg functions in these panels, and the functions basically are individual applications that provide targeted information and analysis on either the broad financial markets or a specific security. Now, all these panels work the exact same way, so you can multitask and run several functions at once. Hence, there is there are 2 windows for here. And obviously, I'm doing this for my MacBook, so again, there are 2 monitors for the Bloomberg terminals. There will never be 1. There'll always be 2. Okay. Now, the Bloomberg keyboard. So, we're going to switch back over to the slideshow here just for a brief second so I can show you guys what the keyboard looks like. Now, I do not want to do this where I had to pan my MacBook in the air and I had to do like that. I didn't want to do this. I just took a picture of it. Now, one of the hallmarks of the Bloomberg terminal is its unique keyboard. It is not like every standardized keyboard. It's very, very different. It might have similarities, but you might notice these keys. Yes, these keys, and definitely, you know, these. And I'm going to explain what each key means. Let's explore all of these. So obviously the escape key, which is the red key over here, exits the current function. The go or enter key, which basically the go here and go here, basically executes a type command. It can also confirm changes you made onto the screen. The menu and end key. So basically, if you go, you see an end key right here. And I believe I'm looking at my in the menu key here. They can close pop-ups, bring you back to the previous screen, or show you a menu depending on the workflow you're in. The help or F1 key. So obviously, if you go in here and if you see help, I just want to make sure the F1 help key, which is right here, basically brings up a user guide for the function you're currently using. Hitting the help key a second time will launch a window that allows you to connect with Bloomberg support. And obviously, if you know anyone in the Bloomberg Lab who knows how to do this, ask them first before you ask Bloomberg support. That's just my 2 cents on that. The message key, which is, I have to hit the F5. Oh, I just found that F5 actually does the refresh button. Man, the things you find out with Bloomberg. Yes. So if you go to the message key, which is right here, it allows you to send and receive messages. Yes, you can actually receive messages from the Bloomberg terminal itself. The news key basically shows you the day's top news, and the search key which obviously is this green button right over here. It allows you to search for information. Now, obviously, there are a bunch of other ones like quote line, quote function, and all these other F keys, which I'm not going to go over. But again, they are very, very useful. So now that we talked about that, let's get back to the fun here. All right. Now, how to find information. Now, there are two ways to find information on Bloomberg. You have the command line or the menu system. So let's just say, for example, and I'm only using an example. And for those who are members of SMEF, you probably know what I'm about to say, because what stock I'm about to say next, because it's a very controversial stock, which I really don't care. It's our meeting. Let's just say if I want to look up a company, maybe if I want to look at the company Rumble, for example, you type in Rumble, and then basically here it'll show you the commands are search. So all you have to do is hit the enter and go key, and basically it'll show you what searched up for. Now, you want to do the menu system where to browse all the functions. The way you do that, you type in the ticker of the company, go down the RUM US equity, and basically this is the menu system will allow you to browse all the functions. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about all these functions in its entirety in this workshop. So again, you guys are going to have first class behind the scenes scoop on how each of these properties and functions work on the Bloomberg terminals. So let's start with the command line, obviously first. So let's get out of this and let's start clean fresh. So say you want to find data for equity indices. As you start typing keywords, Bloomberg's autocomplete suggests potential function securities. From here, you can select the function to start your analysis. So basically, if we want to do, equity analysis, indices, it basically will do is it'll basically, in this example, the world equity indices function shows you a snapshot of real-time global equity index performance. You could also use a command line to run a specific function. When we started typing equity indexes earlier, Bloomberg autocompleted appeared. Each function has a mnemonic or short name used to identify and access the function quickly. You can always enter in the mnemonic in the mnemonic in the command line and hit enter or go. So basically, remember what I said to you guys earlier in the meeting? We talked about the agenda, that all these. Yeah, this is not going to play into effect. So again, they are useful now. So when we talked about equity indices, we basically see we type in WEI. So when we do that, type in WEI, and we'll hit the function for WEI, which is the world equity indices, and it basically brings you to that. Now, we just used the command line to run a function, but it could also get you information on securities. Now, first, you want to load the security you want to analyze. So let's basically start up with, I don't know, let's just say we did Rumble as an example. Rumble. For those of you who get the joke, pat yourself on the back for that. In the first security listed, we see a stock ticker. Obviously, click this. We see the stock ticker GE in the country in which the company is listed in the United States. If we select the company with the equity label, we want to pull up the company's stock. If we select the company with the corp label, we're able to pull up the company's debt. When you select GE, the security lows, which you can see in the gray toolbar. Obviously, and it'll tell you RUM US is quoted in the US dollar. Now, you can see that within the menu, you can specify to analyze security. These are called security-specific functions. For example, with the GE stock, which I'll use General Electric as an example. For this example, obviously, I was about to use Rumble, but I said, do something I think is more relevant to you guys. General Electric. In the country in which the stock is listed in the US, the security lows, which you can see in the gray toolbar, obviously. Now, when you load it, obviously the security-specific functions. For example, with the GE stock loader, you could run the DES or description, which I will talk about that heavily in depth later on this workshop. The information in this function only applies to the loader security. Now you know how to use the command line to search and run functions and securities. Now, the entire Bloomberg terminal is discoverable from the command line. So obviously right from here. So basically, if you type something in, it's going to be right there. And basically, if you guys want to know what DES is, basically it'll show you this. It'll show you the price chart, the GP, the estimates, the corporate info, management. Obviously, it'll show you the depository receipts and basically the BI research primer, the BICO, issue info, ratios, revenue, EPS, and ESG. Now, I know in my notes, I didn't really talk about ESG that much, but I will talk about this now because I feel like it's better of a perfect time than not to talk about it, because ESG is a big topic in wealth management. On top of that, in finance, as we've talked about with multiple speakers this semester, which again, I think we've actually had Fleet Invest come in February to talk to us about ESG investing. So basically, it allows you to do is for the ESG function, allow you to see the financial maturity scores based on their ESG scores, their score, the 2-year change, and versus their peers, so basically lagging, leading, or above median. You're able to see their third-party scores, their SDG potential revenue percentage, the GHG targets, which I know for my stock that I pitched for Student Managed Investment Fund, I pitched Cleveland Cliffs. They actually are getting that net zero target down, which is great. The EU SFDR, the EU Taxo, the disclosure, temperature rising, GHG emissions, stable debt, and their SDG potential revenue percentage. So obviously that is ESG. So now the menus. Let's look now at how the menus can help you by clicking on the related functions menu button. If we click on the White House icon, so obviously if we do click on that, the White House icon, which I'm probably not going to do because why? Because I think when I did my notes on this, it was probably back in. Oh, or you just hit the home button. Or you go back to cancel. It'll bring you back to the home page. Don't do the home, just click the cancel button, bring you back to the home page. Now, if we go into General Electric. Oh, sorry, the house here. It basically will show you all the Bloomberg functions. So the markets, the community, the news and research, economic analysis, help support, which basically, if you want to know how that works, you either click here, you go right here and do that. And then the professional applications, your regions, countries, platforms, and the settings utilities. Don't ever touch settings and utilities, just don't touch it. All right, now before I continue on, I didn't talk about you're actually able to message people on Bloomberg here. Yes, you're actually able to do that. So if you ever want to do that, you see this message button right here. So if you hit that, you're actually able to message people on Bloomberg, which is crazy. I know it's crazy, but trust me, it's worth it. Now, see here, as I send out some of my friends that actually remembers our Student Managed Investment Fund, basically the portfolio that I made for the fund. Obviously, that's the way you can send it to them. But if you really want to message someone who actually, you want to talk to on Bloomberg, let's just say, for example, you want to message, I don't know, Warren Buffett. I think everyone knows who Warren Buffett is. If you do not know who he is, then please get yourself educated. You basically are able to contact these people and they'll give you their contact info, and you're able, I'm even going to say this now, you're able to message them on Bloomberg as long as they have a Bloomberg email on here. If they don't, then you're SOL. If they do, then you're great. So again, I don't have an example of it, but that's how you do it. Now, we're going to start with the equities. You also have a menu for analyzing security that you've loaded in the toolbar. In the equities menu, we have found the WEI, the World Equity Indices. You can hit the menu key as we saw earlier to find a menu of related functions. From here, you can always get back to the home menu and click the cancel on the menu to get back to the function. So if I hit the home button, or if I just go and hit the main menu, basically it'll bring you right back up to here. Now you know how to use command line and menus to find functions and securities on the Bloomberg terminal. All right, now we're going to get to the fun stuff. Now we're going to talk about now the many functions of the Bloomberg terminal, starting with GMM, which is the global macro mover. So for those of you who've taken intro to macroeconomics, basically this is where it's going to come in. So do pay attention. Now, how were the markets affected by the prospect of new elections in Italy, for example? Let's start by typing in macro in the command line. So if we're going to type in macro in the command line because we're looking for a macro event. We'll see global news, global macro mover or the GMM function. So we see global macro movers, we'll click that. What you may have seen besides our anchors at Bloomberg News. Now, it ranks the biggest moves across global financial markets at the start of the day, as shown here, or for a particular day in the past. Now, let's go back in time to the day of May 29th, 2018. Now, the way you do that is you're going to go into custom date and time, and basically we're going to do right here is, if I think I have it here, I'm going to have to do my num lock on 29 2018, and we're gonna do we do update. All right, now, so in this example, by the way, we are in the Central European time zone, looking for the performance in the markets from midnight to 5 p.m. Let's update, which we did. Now, we can see basically, based on this range, which is about 5:30. So I got to figure, I'm sorry, I got to figure out the time over there. 13 is 1, 14 is 2, 15 is 3. Okay, 17. Okay. And we're going to do that. Okay. Sorry that I had to update that real quick. Okay. So there is the custom range we have here. Now we can select the markets we care about in the top left amber field. Obviously, here we focus on the G20 countries, which basically we can talk about that. Or economic releases. Okay. All right. You know what? We're actually going to go off script here. We're going to talk about maybe the Netherlands ADX. So we look at the news headlines, the news from the countries. So basically, you see Netherlands, other markets, Netherlands CDS. Basically, the Relic PLC fell 5.4%, the biggest decline. And the index falls to the second straight day, and the index had dropped below the 50-day moving average. So basically, this is how you're able to look at the ADX, and even go more heavily in depth. You're looking at the ADX index. So basically, sometimes you can't look at them. So I can't show you guys what that looks like. Oh, and we'll get back to this so that you guys will see what we're talking about here. Okay, sorry about that. All right, now, obviously, we're going to talk about now the next function, which is a COUN. The COUN, which stands for the country region guide. This basically gives us an overview of the country's financial markets as of the day, basically, as of the day. Now, as of this meeting, which is May 2nd, this is basically a snapshot of one country. On the left side of the screen, we see the asset class section, so equities, rates, and basically FX. At the bottom is the top news in the country. So obviously, we do have the top news in the United States with the price chart, the GP, the yield curve, which is the GC, the rates are SOVM, and then the equity, which is IMP. We have economics as well, which is 92, which looks at the economic forecast, the economic calendar, economic news, risk, which, if I hit that, agency basically gives you the bond rating, the outlook of it, the equity, currency, bond rates we have here, and the profile as well of the country. So basically, obviously the stuff that you know. And now that I just found this out, fun fact, that Joe Biden's middle name is Robinetti. So that's funny to know that. All right, now let's show off the GP, the price chart. Now, we're going to do a little example. Let's say if we want to look at Rumble, and I wanted to look at the price chart. So we go here and we hit GP. And basically, it will show you the price chart of a stock. So my stock, I actually pitched this for the Student Managed Investment Fund. I actually pitched this, I think, back in like probably December. So it goes 6 months. And you're actually able to determine like how many days you want to go by. So if I want to do by like 3 days, you can hit this button 3D. It'll give it from a 3-day period. So from like probably 10 a.m. on 28th of April all the way to now, if you really want to go down there, it's basically the change. If I even have to annotate, which is another cool function you could do. If I start here and I show you guys that basically we had an 11.26 increase from this point, the opening of the market on April 28th to current when the market closed. Basically, this had a span of 11.26 positive change, which is actually very good for Rumble. Very, very good. All right, so we get the annotate out of the way. And I'm actually able to get rid of this so I can delete the annotation. All right, perfect. And that's actually another way you can actually get rid of annotations. So like if you go here and you hit, like if you do annotate ever again, or basically just do reset, which makes your life a lot easier. All right, now let's go back to the country and show you guys with the yield curves. So basically the yield curves actually will show you the yield of basically anything. So like for now we have the US dollar swaps. So the curve from last mid YTM, and basically if we go and do the annotate function and we hit the net change and we start off from here and we go and we drag this out all the way to the 50-year tenure, we see that there is right here and right here, if you really want to just look at this, that's probably negative 2.38, a decrease from the 3-month tenure to the 50-year tenure, as an example. And the way to get rid of the annotate, hit right-click button, right-click on your mouse, and basically go to delete annotation. And then basically it'll clear this up for you. All right. Now, inside of the graph curves, there's another function called graph curve tenure. So you hit GCT. Now, when you do that, it actually will show you the change happened in a short period of time. Which basically, if you do decide to do that, and if you go to, if I remember how I did this last time, 2-year bar, go to relative, I think it's the 2-year bar, go to 1 month. All right, that'll be the 1 month. We'll go to the GTC. Basically, it will give you basically the change in a short period of time. Now, this is based off of a longer period of time, from like 3 months, 50 years. This is based off of by days. Now, let's figure out how much the change we had here. Let's go back to annotate. Basically, let's go and do the percentage change for this time. We go hit the button here, and we're able to go right here and see that basically we had a negative 0.21% change from April 1st, or sorry, April 3rd, all the way to May 2nd. And let's just pretend basically that, you know, if it was May 1st and the market closed. Obviously, let's just pretend that that happened. If that really happened, just saying. Go to here, and we're able to show you guys what the net changes, which is basically negative, is a positive 1.1797 over the span of 20 days. It's not that bad. Now, obviously, the way to get rid of it is, again, right-click and click delete annotation. So that is how you're able to do that. Okay, now, we obviously went over the GMM. Now let's go over another function. The next function we're going to talk about is WB, which stands for the World Bond Markets. So basically, the world bond markets, you're able to look at all the bonds all over the world. So see, and you're able to change maturity from 10-year to 2-year to 5 or even to 30-year. So you see, we have the regions from America, the EMEA, Asia Pacific. So, and you're able to change the date range as well. And on top of that, we're able to do the yield curves as well for all these. So let's just do, just for shiggles, let's do Canada as an example, obviously. It'll show you their benchmarks, their curves, their butterflies. their inflation and their CDS spread. And obviously the sovereign debt monitor, which if you basically hit that button, it basically will pop up a little miniaturized version of this on a separate screen, if you ever want to do that. But I tend not to do it because it just, gives me a little bit, a little bit crazy. I want everything to be organized. And then provisionals basically do by provisionals or sovereign, depending on whatever country you're doing. Now, this will vary between. So basically, that's able to do the world bonds. And again, unless there's anyone do Argentina locals, you're able to look at let's look at the yield curve, the yield graph. After the yield graph, we see basically the yields at 95.9629. The highest being today, the low actually being 72.4476, which actually was back on April 13th. Average base being 87.34, as an example. All right, now let's just say you ever want to find news articles that you actually, want to write a paper about. Or let's say if you have a class and they ask you to do current events, which I know some classes here at FDU Silberman, I know there are some for macro and micro that do ask you to do that. So here's a way to actually, if you forget and you're like, oh God, I forgot to do this and I need to do it now. Here's a simple way to actually help you do that. So you go into tab and hit this command and type in top. This will bring you to the top news, which will allow you to look at all the top news curated for Bloomberg. So obviously the top stories selected by Bloomberg, feature stories, opinions and analysis, and you're able to scroll down for deals, ESG news, finance, economics, and government, tech, and even sports news, which I never even knew about that until now. And I am very happy about that. So let's say, for example, let's look at an article together just for the fun of it. Oh, look, Chegg 50% wipeout shocks of AI colliding with U.S. businesses. Obviously, everyone heard the news today that Chegg stock went down 50% today. And yes, it went down very, very drastic. I am not joking around. AI is coming for us. And it is scary to see that. Okay, now the next function we're going to look at is the QUIC, which for anyone who does not know what that is basically the Bloomberg quick takes. So basically, it'll give you quick takes based on Bloomberg insiders, which basically, let's look at a news article there about Bitcoin halving. And it's basically written by someone at Bloomberg, obviously, with these great articles. And again, they sometimes have videos, which I'm not going to play them because I don't want to get copyrighted. But again, if you want to watch in your own time, go watch it. If you want to pause it, find out where it is, do that. But I am not going to do that to prevent any copyright issues off this meeting. So again, we're not going to do that. However, if we were recording this for YouTube, then I will be able to show it to you guys. But again, I don't want to do that. So do it on your own time. Work on the Bloomberg Lab and do it. Now, if you want to see more editorials, there's another function you do. If you type in OPIN, which is Bloomberg Opinion, and you basically are able to get more in-depth editorials, like Crypto's Still a Mess, a Crackdown Will Do Good editorial by the editors, which by Bloomberg Opinion. And by the way, the editors are members of their Bloomberg Opinion editorial board. So obviously give their own opinion about it and not basically the facts. Basically like a discussion board or a blog post. That I know some of you guys who take your gen ed classes like ethics, philosophy, logic, sociology, and psychology, as an example. Okay. Next function is going to be the ECO, which is the economic calendars. So here you're able to customize the calendar according to the countries or regions you're interested in and the types of economic releases or events. So let's just do for fun, let's do Japan. And it will show you all the economic releases, the events, the government, central banks, the carbon market events, the commodities, government auctions, top live, and all types. I'm going to do all types just for the fun of it. And basically, we see here that today, Japan auctioned for enhanced liquidity for 1 to 5 years. And that on May 7th, the BOJ minutes of the March meeting and Jibun Bank Japan PMI composite and their services are going to be posted. And again, if we go back to the United States, which I'm not going to do, actually, I will do that. That's actually another way able to browse the countries. You don't have to type them in. You can actually go by geographic regions, the geopolitical regions, which is BRICS, the European Union, G8, G20, GGC, major, and the Eurozone. And any recent ones you figured out, you probably will know where they are. So let's just go to the United States, obviously. And you're actually able to do over 189 countries, United States. So why don't we do the one for tomorrow? The Senate in session for BGOV 4 watch coverage. See the website, obviously, Senate lead session. And basically, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission holds an event, public meeting soliciting comments on the DEIS for Goldendale Energy Shore project as an example of what the economic calendar looks like. And here's even an agenda, and there's even a weekly. You really get like a weekly, like a calendar, which is pretty awesome. All right. Next function is going to be ECOS, which is economic estimates, which are able to estimate all of the, this function does not support your Lotus security, for example. Okay. All right. So we're going to have to do it this way because I had to apologize on that. All right. So for this, we're able to see how the bond market, actually the markets reacted to certain events. So let's just do federal fund rate, target rate, upper bound. The FERC, and we hit on economic estimates. When we do that, able to show you the summary, the median estimate, the average estimate, the high and low estimates, the number of estimates, the qualified economics, and the standard deviation. Obviously, the stuff that you guys learn in your statistics class, that is basically what they're using. Trust me, you're going to use it in finance. So the stuff they teach you in stats, you're going to apply it in finance. Trust me, you're going to use this. And you're able to look at economics and the firms and show their estimates. Now, speaking of this, this also has a similar function, but more towards the stocks. And I'm actually going to skip forward to that right now, which is called ANR, which is the analyst recommendations. Now, obviously, for anyone who is doing a pitch next semester for student management investment fund, pay very close attention because you are going to need to use this for one of your presentations. So if you do that, let's say, for example, we want to type in Rumble. Again, I don't know why I keep using it as an example, but I will. You basically what to do is if you go into comparative analytics, not that, I'm sorry. I had to check that real quick. Go into, okay, the research estimates. All right, yeah. If you go into research and estimates, or if you type in the prompt in the command key ANR, it'll bring up the analyst recommendations for a certain stock. For example, Rumble, which is that. And I know I'm going to stop using this. So let's use more of a more modernized example. Tesla. I know Elon Musk. I know we're going to talk about that. So basically, we type in that stock and basically will show you all of the analysts that have actually projected that the stock will be a buy, a hold, or a sell. So, for example, Morgan Stanley Shelley Wang said it's actually overweighted and it's in line. The target price range is $200 a share. The other side of the coin, JP Morgan, which funny enough, they actually acquired First Republic Bank just recently. Ryan Brinkman said the stock's underweight and that the stock will probably be at $115 a share. So again, yes, everybody will have different recommendations and these can change on the fly. Believe me, they will change on the fly. All right, I had to go out of order for that one because it actually kind of coincided a little bit with the ECOS. But again, it's basically the analyst recommendations for stocks. ECOS is the economic estimates of the estimates of economics. So again, you have all the rankings and also the economic rank history, basically show the economics of the firm and the release date and the estimate and the actual and the rank of how they did. All right, the next function we're going to go over is the GIY. So we're going to go back in here, we're going to hit GIY. And that'll bring in the intraday yield chart. So basically, it'll show you the intraday of the yield. So basically, let's change these dates around. Let's do April 28th to May 2nd. Let's do that. Now, when you do that and you hit enter, it basically will change the range here. And basically it will tell you how the stock did based on an intraday yield. And basically we do overnight, the local CCY, and all other good stuff. So if we do track, and if we start out here, and basically we start a pinpoint maybe around here, we know basically their last price around $160.62. If we do annotate, which again, you're going to have to actually hit both of them. You'll hit both of them, probably hit one of them. And if you do this, and we do basically the net change, we then are able to see that they actually have improved by 1.12% of the intraday. All right, we already went over our calendars. All right, oh yeah, another one we have to go over, which is if my this terminal wants to work today. The ECOD, which is the economic release details. So basically, we do that. The economic release details, we're able to see if we go into securities finder, I'll just do the federal funds again, just as an example, the ECODs, we then are able to see basically the security description and the insights from the Bloomberg economic analysis and the line chart and the current news from latest survey. You can actually do the survey high and the low if you want to, which again, I'm going to leave it back at default because I don't want to mess anything up. So again, that is basically what it is. So the survey says that 5%, the actuals at 5, the prior was 4.75, and the release time and for whatever date it is. And basically the current news is right over here. All right. Now, the second, well, actually not the second to last one, but of this section, we're not going to go over Bloomberg intelligence. Basically, if we do that, we're going to type in BI. BI will actually bring in your Bloomberg intelligence. And we're going to do is we're going to choose, you can choose actually browse of all BI equity and industry, credit, BE economics, BI equity strategy, BI FICC strategy, and the best of BI and all this other good stuff. So we're in for this example. Let's go to economics. Here we can see the featured and the previews and insight pieces around major data release and events categorized by geographical region and written by Bloomberg analysts. So let's do regional countries, and let's say we do United Kingdom, for example. As it is loading, make sure you please subscribe to all of our social media pages and follow us on all our social media platforms and go to our official WMA Club website, FDU Wealth Management Advisory Club.com. Okay, now that we're back, back to your regular central broadcast. So I'm going to give the dashboard, the critical themes, the economic analysis, and the week ahead, and also give you the data library for macro, consumer, energy, financials, industrials, materials, TMT, the moderate equity markets, news research, and the eco calendar. So obviously, if we go back here to dashboard home, or if I can't get back here, then I'm going to have to go back. Oh, and by the way, just as a little side note, all the I have on my slides an appendix. Basis is taken right from the Bloomberg Marketing Concepts course for the terminal basics. So again, I might be going a little out of order here because I wasn't able to get all that done right in the right timing. So again, if you follow exactly what it is on here, and if you do it by yourself, I guarantee you'll actually do it. And you basically really ace that section, get 100 on it. Besides, there really isn't any quizzes on that one. It's just, answer questions and that's it. All right. Now, let's talk about exploring the equity markets. So now we're going to talk about the stocks, the fun stuff. So let's start by going to related functions menu on the homepage. And what I mean by that is not doing that. Let's type in here EQS. Now, EQS is the equity screening. Now, when we do that, you don't have any save screens, create a new screen, right panel, or collect a popular review. So it basically will allow you to select stocks, actually screen stocks based on a customized set of criteria, which the equity screening is divided into several sections. The My Recents and popular screens on the left side bar, the screen criteria, add criteria, and the selected screening criteria. And the quickest way we could do that is basically add in the criteria. So if you go here, you hit the field, basically go total return as an example, like period 1 day, and basically do greater than, or equal to, all the other great stuff. And you basically do it by there. Now, since I am not going to be doing that because I am not going to be creating one, but again, if you do it like I have in the appendix, I have in the slide deck, you will be able to do it yourself because we want to make sure we get you guys out on time. That we want to make it, we don't want to make it a 2-hour workshop. We'll make it a fun one. So basically, we're not going to hit the next function, which is WATC, which is the watch list analytics. So basically, look at the companies which met the criteria, and this is based on the criteria that you set off of the EQS. So let's say, for example, we look at basically Meta. And everyone does not know what Meta is. Meta basically is Facebook. Give the comparison to the peers, suppliers, customers, and the related functions here. So let's see if we compare it to peers, just for fun. And if we compare it to peers, basically compare it to basically they're probably their competitors. Roku, Uber, DoorDash, Snap, and Pinterest. Most of you probably have heard all these companies, and I know some of you guys at FDU Silberman probably have used probably 4 of them, if not probably all of them except for Roku. Fun fact, I used to own a Roku, but the TV broke. So fun fact about that for little old me. So I was able to go over DES, so we'll skip that. We did talk about the price chart, which is great. All right. Next function we'll talk about is BICO. So BICO, which is the Bloomberg Intelligence Primer. So the Bloomberg analysts at the top of the screen track the given company and identify any number of relevant issues from the credit outlook to any litigation or government issues that can emerge and impact the company. So basically, if we did Meta, it basically will tell you the key topics about, for this example, Meta's widespread app engagement, ad load, aid, cost, focus, react. And basically, give you reasons why. Maybe, first off, their cost controls offset reality labs, reels, company outlook, and the key topics. Their job cuts help costs, the free cash flow outlook, and the sum of the parts analysis. And again, these are all going to be very different for every single stock. So this is just basically one of them. All right. So now let's actually we had FA, which will be the financial analysis of Meta. And basically here, it will give you basically comprehensive financial information for a company or an equity index, including historical fundamental data and future estimates. Now, basically, okay, I know I'm an accounting major and I'm an accounting freak, so I have to do this. And I really think you should do this. When you go into here, or when you go into, I believe it is, mix. I think it's the gap. We're going to go into here, which is gap. Obviously, I have it here because obviously I am a neat freak with this. So hopefully, let me look. Okay, so it'll basically give you all of like the stuff you guys see on Yahoo Finance. So like the market capitalization, the enterprise value, the gross profit, the revenue, but basically more an expanded version of it. I know, Yahoo Finance has like a Yahoo Finance Plus service, but this actually gets you this stuff for free. And trust me, if you're at FDU, you get to use one of these terminals and you're actually able to view all this. And the great thing about this is you're actually able to download this and actually export it onto an Excel file. Now, what I mean by that is basically this. So if you go in here and you can do this for anything on Bloomberg, any function you do, and it varies between functions, but majority of them, you're actually able to export them. You will export them a PDF, an Excel file, or an Excel template library. I'm not going to show you how that actually shows out to be, because I don't want to waste time. But again, if you want to explore that, come to Bloomberg Lab. And by the way, just a little quick, heads up, if you do want to come to Bloomberg Lab and your key card does not allow you to get in, bring a friend with you that actually is able to get in, or talk on the forum campus and actually Metro campus, Professor Ken Betts, who actually would get you into the Bloomberg lab and allow you to use these Bloomberg terminals. Because again, these are awesome tools you guys really need to use in the business world. And I've actually loved this place ever since, I think it was like my sophomore year. I usually would come here every day and go on Bloomberg, you know, play around the tools and everything. It's freaking awesome. All right. Well, now we're going to talk about the KI, which is the key insights, or insights as shortened form of that. So basically for the key insights, when we type in insights command line, we see the key insights or KI, which the application presents the most relevant company facts in an easy to read field. Basically, for all of you who are living in Iraq, it's basically the Cliff Notes version. If you know what I mean, I know I put in every single description of our meetings in our YouTube videos. When I say, oh, Cliff Notes version of it, that's basically what I mean here. It's a Cliff Notes version of it. And it uncovers deep content throughout the Bloomberg terminal and is informed us if the insights would have been a positive or negative impact on the company. So basically, it'll give the essential insights and analyst updates, security valuation movement, and valuation estimates, fundamentals, industry news, and deals, obviously. So that's how the key KI position works. Now, we're now going to talk about two specific oh my God, functions, which basically go together: company profile and company news. So the company profile will be CP. So if we do that, it'll basically give you a company profile of what the company is. So basically, they'll give you the key insights, the price chart, and the valuation, very, very, short and to the point, and the news that are there. And if you want to see company news based on based on the stock you chose, there are basically there's basically one way to do it, but here's the way I've always done it. And I don't know, it varies between everybody. So if you type in CN, it basically the individual company news based on the stock that you've actually chosen. For Meta, it's basically that. So, and the other way to do it, I will just show you guys how to do that way, where if you type in the name of the company, you want the ticker of it, and you go down to number 4, which is CN, you hit that and basically give you the individual news. And sometimes you can do that, but again, you may need to know these, these functions on the fly. You never know, anything can happen. But it's best to know how to use each function. And with a CN, you're able to actually put up key themes if you even want to do that for the, for each of the stocks. And you're actually able to do is actually have the AI news importance from the lowest to the highest. So you want the very, very important stuff about Meta, you basically lower it all the way up to the high. Like, for example, Meta set size for dollar bond offering at 8.5 billion to the lowest, basically, where the lowest basically would be probably IT, hardware, and communication equipment is delayed, as an example. All right. The next function we're going to talk about is RV, which is the relative valuation. Now, basically the PE, for anyone who does not know what PE is, for all you freshmen who are watching this, or for anyone who's in high school probably watches, it is coming to FDU next semester. PE, or the price to earnings ratio, is a commonly used indicator to compare companies. And basically, it will compare the market cap, the last PX, and the change percentages and the revenue and EPS from basically all your competitors. So for example, we see Meta, Snap, Pinterest, and Uber, and DoorDash, and Roku's market cap, last PX, change percentage from the 1 day, 1 month, and the rev. So if we just go into here, basically here's another actually cool way you can actually sort it out. If you hit this button, basically we'll sort them by the highest to lowest. As you hit it again, and basically bring it the high from lowest to highest. Just as a way you're able to organize them. If you hit them again the third time, basically will set you back up to neutral. So basically, we'll give you that, the comp sheets, ESG, markets, EPS preview, ownership, credit, and the custom. And basically tell you the segment, which in this case, Meta is actually Internet Media and Services segment. And actually give you the US multiples, premium to whole firm comps, the EQRV, which I'll talk about that in a little bit. So there. And funny enough, that's actually our next thing we're going to talk about. A good way to actually segue to the next function. So the EQRV allows us to evaluate whether a company is fair value relative to a group of its peers, given his historical performance on the selected multiple as as compared to the group. They can also use EQRV to analyze a company's multiples versus its standalone history. Now, obviously, if we do hit this, we're going to view the multiples we have here. So analysis of Meta's US multiples. Obviously, the current price, the BFP, the LF, and maybe we'll compare for the two-year correlation coefficient, the market cap, the BPEV, the forward EV divided by EBITDA, the blended forward PE, and the two-year historical premium range, the implied at historical average, and you're able to change this from 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, and you're able to customize your comps. And also do group dynamics and versus self. If you want to do it that way, you can. So that's how you do the EQRV function. All right, and we did talk about analyst recommendation. We were talking about that. Okay, now let's now talk about the next function, which is called which is technical study browser, or in another sense, basically. Okay, yeah. So they actually renamed this from the TCH, which the TCH used to actually stand for the technical analysis, but now it's actually being renamed to basically what you guys just saw on your screen earlier, which is basically, the tech, which basically the technical study browser. Now, this centralizes access to all types of technical and analysis studies, including ones created by you, provided by third parties, or shared with you. The most popular can be found in the popular section. To learn more about an indicator, let's click on its name. So, for example, let's look at moving averages and bands. Convergence/divergence, most commonly known as MACD. The description appears on the right panel. For greater detail about the indicator, we click on the more and use the scroll bar. If we click the link at the bottom and go to the interpretation section, we can understand how the indicator generates buy and sell signals. Now, we already typed the monadic. And basically, we see here, if we just go into doing maybe, for example, calendar average, and we click on more, it basically gives more of the statistical breakdown, the description of it, and basically tells you, how we use it to compare it with, how to analyze a stock with it. All right. Now, these two, I know they're going to be very, very different, but they're actually the same function at the same time. So the first one is going to be BTST, which is your basic back testing. Bloomberg has on technical analysis. Which basically will able to find out what the function else. So technical research tools like basic back test, or BTS, which allows us to test the trading strategies using historical data, so we could judge their effectiveness had we invested during the chosen time period. So basically, if we decide, we're Meta, if we decide, today to invest it a year ago, if we basically buy and hold it, the profit and loss would make $13.68 million. And again, this bases on a lot of factors. So buy and hold, DMI, RSI, K-band, fear and greed, and there's even a chart, scatter plot, graphics filter. There's a lot of ways you can do this. And trust me, yeah, you get a little bit freaky. You see a lot of colors, you know what I'm saying, man. All right. Now, another way to do back testing is actually BT, which is back testing and optimization. Basically, you can create your own strategy using a sample strategy created by Bloomberg, or optimize the parameters on your chosen indicator. And the technical analysis shows which study could have helped us make the most money in the past. If we believe history repeats itself, then it can be a roadmap. The decision, obviously, is ours. So it's the sample strategies based on 52-week slope and the equivalent distribution. And this basically off of the index, like the SPX index. If you basically go off of the 52-week one, which, well, again, the 52-week slope, if we just click that one as an example, if we did use that strategy, we'll see if we were able to make the most money out of it. And we had 4 wins and 1 losses, means, you had a 90.28% chance of actually, winning, which is good. All right. And the last one of this section is COMP. So COMP, which is your comparative returns. So comparative returns allows you to see what our total return would have been have we bought the stock at its IPO and compared it to the main indices? So if we did it at the SPX index and we did Meta, the US equity platform A, if we did that, this should be there. Let me see if this should pop up. It basically will show you the price change from the time that from the IPO compared to the main indices. The price change is actually 26.74%. Compare that to the S&P 500. And even going back 10 years ago, yeah, even Meta's got a real whole big lead against SPX index. Trust me. All right. Now we're going to talk about how discovering the fixed income market. I know, we're halfway there, but do not worry. It's going to be done soon. Trust me, it will. All right. First one we're going to go over is the SRCH, which is the fixed income search. Kind of sounds like search if you think about it. So basically, it allows you to build and edit with the search and build a criterion and build by merging save search. So you're just like universe, like asset classes or sources. So let's say, for example, if you want to search up Kung Fu bonds, and I'm not lying, that actually is the thing. Believe me, I even looked at the not the workshop, when I was starting to build this workshop up, and I heard Kung Fu bonds, and I'm like, no way that's true. And I looked it up, and I'm like, oh wow, it actually does mean stuff in China, which I had no idea. Which as I'm making these workshops, funny enough, I learn new stuff every time I do it. So it's kind of fun for me doing this. So basically, you're able to do is build and edit out your search with criterion or the merge, save, search. And I'm not going to show you how to do that because, again, I want you guys, our members, to go to Bloomberg Live and use these and try them out yourself. Obviously, while using the appendix that I have here. All right, doing that. That's second section. Shift on that. All right, now the next one, which is going to be FIW, which is your fixed income worksheet. Now, the fixed income worksheet is among Bloomberg's most robust credit-related value tools. The filters on the left allow us to sort by a list of variables, including maturity, ratings, amount, outstanding, and currency. And basically, you're able to switch indexes on the fly using the index membership by returns and projected. And you group by the BP, by the Bloomberg Index Comp rating, country, sector, all this other stuff, and then by, this. Now, again, I am going to probably just do is add security. So let's just do Meta as an example, and we will do Meta Corp. And basically, we are able to categorize by fixed income funds, index stats, money markets, mortgages, all those other good stuff. So again, that's how you're able to do that. All right. Next one we're going to talk about is BVAL, which is Bloomberg Validation. Now, basically, sometimes when you get this, that means you actually have to get a loaded security. And sometimes you get an SPN index, not actually the right one. So we're going to do IBM US equity. And before I continue on with this, to explain what BVAL is. Bloomberg valuation provides transparent, highly defensible prices for fixed income securities across the liquidity spectrum. The key to BVAL's methodology is real-time access to market observations from a wealth of contributed sources. All in. So, you know what I mean. And obviously, if you go right into here, it basically tells you, what the security is, and it will tell you. And obviously, you have to use the panel key and do the BVAL. Let me see if this is not way I wanted to do. All right. Okay, now I got it. Nope. Okay. All right, we'll skip that one because I thought I had that one ready. All right. Next one we'll look at is capital structure, which is cast. Get like a casting call. So basically, you're able to see the capital structure of the company. And basically, for example, we do Microsoft. That is basically their capital structure, which is right here. And you basically show inactive issuers, which you're able to do that. And you're able to show the debt type breakdown. So basically, you know, a little key here, it'll show you the security detail from descriptive, regulatory, summary, chart, and then basically the debt, the price, the spread, the yield, and the business construction structure, and all other good stuff. So that's how you do the CAS. The next one is going to be your DDIS, which is the debt distribution. So debt distribution basically will show you the debt spread out for multiple years. Obviously, show you by asset classes, the country of incorporation, by a stock. So in this example, we did it by asset class corporations, and we see that the highest debt distributed will be 2053, with the maturity being, the amount being 7,709.01 million. And I think it's with 2 M's, which is a little crazy. Compared to probably in 2033 with about 606.71 million, million debt. All right, next one is aggregated debt, which that'll be AGGD. And this will show you all the issuers' debt aggregated through here. And this is actually where you're, and funny enough, to find the holding of a company, I'll actually just jump back real quick on this. If you really want to find who holds, like who are holders of the company for stock, you basically type in the company, the stock, and if you go to ownership summary, it'll show you how many shares of the company it has, and even I will go one more further, and I will show you. Gotta look at the company profile location, the company management. Actually, I'll show you that real quick. Actually, while we're here, and here, if you click on this, you go to company management, show you who is in charge of all the positions here at Facebook or Meta, and get it. Mark Elliott Zuckerberg is the chairman, CEO, co-founder of Facebook. And it'll show you the board, committee, changes, cross-boarding, and the summary of all of them. So again, obviously, I just show you that. So I just, I'm sorry, there's like a freaking party going over there. I do apologize. All right, next one we're going to talk about is DRSK, which is your Bloomberg default risk. Now, the DRSK generates an independent evaluation of a company's credit health using scrubbed fundamental data and cutting-edge quantitative models. It also provides daily estimates for default risks, one-year default probability, and its CDS model. So basically, this is basically what it is. So for Meta, 1 year, basically the default grade, the default probability, and the share price, and the one-year default probability being right here. And obviously in the chart, the sector comparison, and the model inputs between market cap, share price, and all the other good stuff. And again, you're able to compare for the 6 month, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and max. You're able to do it for all of those. All right, now let's talk about RVRD, which is your relative value ranking, or in this case, relative value debt metrics, which basically allows us to perform fundamental debt and credit ratio benchmarking of our securities performance against the relative index of peer groups. We can also customize our peers to match the ones we had in equity section. So basically, for Meta, with our Bloomberg peers, we compare the debt ratios, the valuations, the ratings, the outstanding debt, and the financials only through there, the home, default, global, and the closest by market cap revenue, net income, 10 by, whether it's market cap revenue, net income, or peer relevance. DS, not going to go over that again. We already talked about fiscal worksheet. I think we talked about this one, but I guess I'll talk about it again. The next function being YAS, so yield and spread analysis. It allows us to explore pricing and the spreads and how they've actually changed historically. Now, obviously, we're going to go over fixed incomes and ETFs supported by this, and we're going to go over, let's go over Lexer US 10 Treasury 10+Y DRUCITS ETF as an example. So basically, it'll show you the yield and the spread, the graphs, the pricing, description, and the yield. And funny enough, you're actually able to buy and sell these on the Bloomberg terminals. And funny enough, you're actually able to do this right from here. I don't know how I don't know how, but I am not buying this. Trust me, I am not doing this. If anyone who's watching this, most probably my parents, do not worry, I did not buy anything. I'm only using an example. Believe me, I'm not that stupid to and another thing I actually noticed when I did this, it says exit the child window, which is so funny. Good times in the Bloomberg lab. All right, next function, which is the LQA, which is your liquidity assessment. Now, let's just say we think that this current spread is an outlier. Then there's an opportunity here. Now, where could we buy this bond from, and at what price? And is the bond liquid? So obviously we type in liquidity or type in LQA, which helps us to formulate trading strategies and assess our positions, liquidity risk by quantitatively estimating securities liquidity. So basically it'll give you the liquidation volume, the target horizon day, target cost, scenario definition, and the DES, the scripted data we talked about earlier, and liquidity trend from 1 month to 9 months, and even the sector comparison and the scenario analysis. All of that right here. All right. Now, the next function we're talking about is FIPX, which is your fixed income price discovery. This gives us the pricing data we need to quickly value a bond when analyzing a potential trade or determining a mark-to-market. It aggregates pricing data for prices received in your message inbox, which your MS1, MSG1, or this, obviously. And obviously, every time you get a message, you'll probably blink like this, be obviously now annoying. Just hit on that, read your message, and then it's done. All dealers contributing prices to Bloomberg, and Bloomberg generic and evaluated prices. And finally, the prices reported to Trace. So basically, we'll go on here, we'll go Security Finder, and we will do, for example, let's do First Republic Bank, because obviously it's been in the news recently. We do FIPX, and it will show us, basically, we can't show the MSG1 quote recap. We can't because we are not enabled for the source. It'll show you the all quotes, which, funny enough, I will talk about that in a little bit. And it'll give you the Bloomberg generic and evaluated price if you actually do have access to the quote recap, and the trade history, and it gives you the intraday chart, the GIQ for a week. So you see these green circles are the buy, red, sell, dealer, which is the gray boxes, and the orange line, which is the B valve. And you're able to buy and sell as well. But I do not suggest doing that because, again, First Republic got bought up by JP Morgan. So do not do anything with First Republic Bank. Do not do that. No way. Now, this actually segues us over to our next function, which is all Q. This is the all quotes. And to be happy, we're happy with the trade. We believe there could be a price. Let's actually simulate a trade as if it happened in real time. Yes, you can actually simulate trades in here, but I suggest you don't do it. Do it when you have like a virtual $1 million and do that. And believe me, I did that for a competition I did back in high school, and I actually won. So, funny enough, I did that. It was really awesome. So, all Q allows us to monitor current market data for selected fixed income security by contributed pricing sources, so we can determine a security's current price, spread, yield, and liquidity. And it's also organized into two modes that allow us to display contributed quotes from our enabled dealers or performance metrics for each dealer. Notice we have buy and sell buttons on the right topic, but we also have a switch button. So, given our Bloomberg terminal is not enabled for trading, which in this case, we are going to assume that, we're going to type in, and we're going to emulate a trade. We're going to type in the Bloomberg terminal. We're going to type in all Q demo. We're going to type that in. And basically it should load up to here. Okay, so we have a demo. So basically this is the demo of the all Q. Now let's see what it would look like if we were trading the bond on the Bloomberg FI trading platform. We decide to buy the bond, obviously. So let's pretend we are about to buy. When we do that, basically it'll give you this little pop-up or venue onboarding incomplete. Please contact your sales rep. Oh yeah, we can't do it on here. I apologize. So I can't show you guys how to do that. But if you go to the the terminal basics course on the BMC, it will show you on how to do that. Because I know for FDU, we can't do on here. So again, I do apologize. Can't really see you guys. Can't really let you see that. All right, we're down to the home stretch here. All right, we're getting there. All right, now we're going to talk about building an equity portfolio. So the first off, before we even start to build an equity portfolio, let's talk about this function, rich. Yes, there is a function out there for rich people. I am not lying when I say that. It actually is. It's really, really fucking funny to say that. So if you type in RICH, it'll bring up the Bloomberg Billionaire Index. And basically, this index leverages data and proprietary calculations to monitor the world's highest net worth individuals and how their fortunes changes on a daily basis as the market fluctuates. We could click on any billionaire to see a biography screen where we can further examine the billionaire's fortune. So, for example, why don't we do Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha? And guess how much he's worth, ladies and gentlemen? $113.6 billion. I am not lying when I say that. He is actually worth that amount of money, which is really, really high. It's something. And it'll give you their rank, their country, region rank, the confidence on a 5-star rank, and the price of the company that he have shares in, the intelligence. The intelligence basically will give you a little bit of intelligence on this, which, funny enough, he's actually, fun fact, he deducted $23 million on his 2010 tax returns, which is great. And funny enough, in the industry, he's ranked number 1. In gender, he's ranked 5. America's ranked 4. America's ranked 4. And global, he's ranked number 5. And even give you the news based on the person that you just looked. And now, the next one being IP, which is investor profile. Now, basically, this function provides a comprehensive investor profile for institutions such as, for example, Microsoft Corporation, or in this case, why don't we do Berkshire Hathaway? For an example, obviously, as I stretch, I do apologize as I'm waiting for that to go. Okay, so it will show you the summaries, the holdings, the funds, the context, and the interaction. So again, if you look at the holdings, it basically shows how many holdings they have. So for example, Berkshire Hathaway, they have holdings in Apple, Bank of America, Chevron, Coca-Cola, American Express. Funny enough, some of the companies we probably do have in the Student Managed Investment Fund actually are in Berkshire Hathaway's investor profile. It's not that rare to see that. It's actually very, very common. All right, now the fun thing. This is the biggest one I actually waiting for you guys to see all day. And that is how to create a portfolio. Now, luckily, I was actually able to create a portfolio for our Student Managed Investment Fund here at FDU Silberman by doing it on Bloomberg. And in the past, I would actually have to do it via an Excel file. However, that was tedious, and I found out a way to do it via Bloomberg, and it actually updates like that. Unfortunately, I'm able to be here over the summer to look at it, which sucks. I don't know why we don't get the all access. We're able to view it anywhere in the world. But again, I think it's kind of a blessing in disguise if you think about it. And by the way, just to say, Bernard Arnold is now the most wealthiest man in the world. $204.2 billion he's worth, which is very, 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 very interesting. You know what? It looks like an old man. I probably think it looks like, what, 80? All right. So if we go into PRTU, basically it's portfolio administration. Now, obviously, I will show you what our SME portfolio looks like. Obviously, I will show you. But before that, I'm going to show you how to create it. So when you create it, obviously, the description, the long name, now the asset classes. You want equity, basically you want stocks, you can do that. Fixed incomes, basically fixed incomes. Balance is a mixture of equity and fixed incomes, and then funds of funds, basically funds of funds. Position type, make sure it says shared and par amount. Don't do fixed weight or drifting weight. If you're going to do a SME portfolio, do shares of par amount. Portfolio currency, make sure it's in USD or your currency that you actually are currently living in. The auto rebalance, never do that. Calendar convention, just do 5 days. Leave these as it is, because again, leave them as it is. Trust me, it is worth it. And when you do that, it'll create your portfolio, which in this case, we have this. Yes, all of our holdings that we have. Quite frankly, yes, I know we lost a lot of money, but again, this is our portfolio. Now, you're probably wondering, how am I able to purchase a stock or put in a ticket? Well, I'm actually going to show you how to do that. So if you go on the Bloomberg terminal, you type in PTT. This actually is a portfolio trade ticket, and it'll allow you actually to submit a trade ticket into the Bloomberg terminal and actually have that affect your portfolio. So let's say, for example, and I'm not going to do this for our fund. And again, if anyone's watching who remembers me, I did not screw up the fund. I only use it as an example. So again, please do not come at me saying I did screw it up. Please don't. I did not hit the buy button. Let's just say, for example, we want to invest in Rumble. Obviously, we would go into here, type in the ticker name. So RUM. And I really wish we actually invested in this, but again, the people higher ups despise me, did not really want it. I think it was controversial stock. You put the amount of shares you want of it, the commission, and the trade date. Obviously, I would basically just do is put the same date as a settlement. It doesn't really matter. The cents per share, and you want to make sure this is always update the portfolio cash, the way it automatically updates. And then basically this will spit it out the principal automatically. So whatever you put for shares, like if I put 25 shares, it will automatically give you the principal for what it is. And then you just hit submit, and bada bing, bada boom, it's in the portfolio. Now, the coolest thing about this is you're actually able to analyze this portfolio, and there's only one way to do that. Oh, and by the way, our portfolio, we're actually able to put our fixed income like treasuries or those short-term treasuries we have. So again, we have those two short-term treasuries we have. But let's just say you really want to dig deeper into the Bloomberg Workshop, I'm sorry, the Bloomberg portfolio you just made. There's one button you have to hit, and that is analyze, or the number 4. Or not that, I'm sorry, not that button. The analyze button. If you hit that, it basically will bring up this, the portfolio and risk analysis. Now, obviously, oh, and by the way, for anyone who actually wants to view this, please come and see me. I will be able to add you on our list, and you're able to view this anytime you want. We're in the Bloomberg Lab. So if you ever want to look at this, just come see me. I can bring in the Bloomberg Lab. I'll get you sub with an account. I can basically let you see this. That way we're able to view it anytime you want when in the Bloomberg terminal as a token of our appreciation here at WMA Club Business Majors. So when you base your in the portfolio risk analysis, you're actually able to view your portfolio and break it down based off of your equity, amount of cash out on hand, the summary, the cash flow, liquidity risk, key rates, the intraday attribution, performance, scenarios, the VAR, tracking error, volatility, and the holdings. So basically what we want to do is we'll click expand, and it will expand on all of our stocks in our portfolio. And funny enough, our entire portfolio is fully diversified with at least one stock in every single sector part of the GICS. Fun fact for anyone who did not know that. And actually our Bloomberg composite rating is a AAA. Fun thing, and actually that's awesome that we actually really get that, which is great. And if you go over summary of a quick little Cliff Notes version of our characteristics, the weight, the fixed income, the equity, and basically the top 10 weights in our portfolio, and excluding the short-term treasuries, Google, United Airlines, and WAL. And yes, I know WAL is not doing so hot right now. I know it's really doing bad, but again, we are long-term traders at the end of the day. We are not short day traders. So again, just saying. For anyone who's hating on me saying, oh, why did we sell out of WAL? Don't blame me. I'm not the one who makes the decisions. And you look at cash flows and the key rates, liquidity risk. So there's a lot of fun you could have with this, and even to analyze this. And by the way, you don't even have to be the editor of this. You can actually view it. Even if you're a viewer of this portfolio, you're actually able to view this as well, which is actually pretty fun to do that. All righty. That is it for the Bloomberg Workshop. I hope you guys had a lot of fun tonight, obviously viewing Bloomberg in its entirety on how to use all the functions. Now, again, for some of the functions I could not explain to you guys. Oh, there was one I was going to go over, which I will go over now. I do apologize. ESG. I will go over that because that is a huge topic today in finance. So obviously they did add ESG solutions. So I will just show you this real quick. We did go over ESG analysis, which for those who probably know is this. If I go back and if I go to ESG solutions, we do have ESGD, which is ESG data discovery, which looks like this. And basically, if you want to go even deeper, you have government climate scores, which is GovS. And again, I never, ever use this because I'm not really, in our portfolio, we never use ESG investing, but I am trying to convince me to do that a little bit because we have to be, to change things up, but it can't be the same old thing every single day. But yeah, so besides that, that is it finally for our Bloomberg workshop. Hope you guys had a lot of fun with me tonight, going over Bloomberg, learning all the new functions you're able to do on the Bloomberg terminal. Now, again, for some of those functions, I cannot explain to you guys because we would have access to it, or A or B, we couldn't do it because of limits that are out of our hands. Again, what I will do is I will share with you guys the entire slide deck we have on Thursday. And I do highly suggest that if you guys go, and we'll probably pull this up again, just so you guys have it. If you go into the BMC, and if you go to Terminal Basics, basically I just pulled out and copy and paste the transcripts from every single lesson from there. And I literally put it onto the, onto the appendix, which basically starts at 30 or starts at 13. So obviously, if you want to follow that while you're doing it, go do it, have fun. And again, like I said, you could do your Bloomberg marketing concepts anywhere. You do not have to be in the Bloomberg lab to do it, but we do encourage you to be in the Bloomberg lab to be able to view all this exciting features. So with that being said, that is it. Again, we have 2 more events. We have our Silberman recognition event, which will be May 4th. That will be in the Silberman Suite on the Forum campus. Metro, I am going to look right now, actually, while we're all here tonight, so that I'm able to tell you guys if they are doing it in Metro. Let me check quick. Okay, so they didn't have a date yet, but I am assuming either they're going to do on the same day as Forum, or if not, they're going to do it May 5th. But again, do not quote me on that. I think they're going to be doing it May 5th, but if not, Forum members will be May 4th. Obviously, go there, enjoy. They're going to have free food. Chick-fil-A is for free. Anyone wants to go? I'm definitely going to be there. Hang out with me, everyone else there. And then our last meeting of the spring semester will be UWorld. Yours truly and Janelle Brion Lopez presenting UWorld, and also about goal setting. And on top of that, we'll be talking about CPA, CMA, and CFA exams like I did last semester with former company I worked for, Wiley. For Thursday's meeting, the speaker will be coming in person, so please come in person if you can. And then, yeah. So with that being said, that is it. Thank you guys so much for coming to this meeting. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to us or come to me. I am a very, very approachable man. Come talk to me about anything you guys want about accounting, WMA, anything in general. Come and talk to me. And yeah, so with that, that's it. And we will see you guys on Thursday for the Silberman recognition event. And unfortunately, for our final meeting of the spring 2023 semester in what was an awesome semester for our club. And I say awesome, but probably it will be bigger than that. I guess you guys will find out on Thursday. So yeah, with that being said, that's it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all on Thursday. Until next time, this is Jack Mitchell saying so long. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you all on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Turn it on.